Hello, my name is Rachel and this is the YouTube channel of a Knitwit. Today I wanted to show you how to make teeny sweater things. You could use them for ornaments. I like to cut out felt letters and sew them on and give them to my friends for presents. You could use them for garlands. You can do whatever you want with them, but I'm going to show you how to make it. First of all, you are going to need size 4 double pointed needles, some scissors, a needle to sew in your ends, and a size 3 yarn. This one I'm using Cozy Wool Tweed from Michaels, Loops and Threads. It was a limited edition, but I think they have something very similar for sale now. So the first thing we'll do is cast on 20 stitches, and I like to leave a bit of a tail in case I want to use that to sew it together later. It's very much, we'll make the front and back in one piece and then we'll do the sleeves separately. So we'll cast on 20 stitches. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so just to be safe, count them again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, so what you're gonna do now is just 4 rows of a 1x1 rib, which is your knit, purl, knit, purl. We're gonna do 4 rows of that. So knit, purl, 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 all the way down the line. Okay, so that's 1 row done. I'm gonna do the other 3 rows to make 4 total, and I'll come back once that's finished. All right, now we've got 4 rows of 1x1 ribbing. The next thing we are going to do is 24 rows in stockinette, which is your knit one whole row, and then purl one whole row. And we're doing 24 rows of that. So you're gonna knit a row, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and then purl a row. And you're going in through the top for the purl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right, so that is 2 rows down, 22 more for the total of 24 rows. Okay, so now that we've got the 24 rows of stockinette, it's going to want to curl up a little bit. That's okay. When you sew the sleeves on and sew the sides together, it will stop doing that. So the next thing that we're going to do is knit the first 6 of this row and then bind off 8 and then knit the last 6. So we're going to start making the neck hole for this sweater. So we're going to knit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then the bind off method I use, I'm sure has a name. I just don't remember what it is at this point. I will knit a stitch, throw it back on the left needle, knit those 2 stitches through the back loop, and then pull it off. Take this new loop I just made, put it back on the left needle, knit the 2 stitches through the back loop, pull it off, take the new loop on the left needle, go back in through that loop and through the next loop, through the back of the loop, knit them together. That's how I'm doing my bind off for this. So I'm just going to do a few more to make 8 for the neck hole. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I think I'm gonna do 2 more. 1, I keep getting caught. 2. So then I've got this one on this side, and I should have 5 over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That makes 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you've got the start of your neck hole for this teeny sweater. The next thing we will do is flip it over. I like to knit this side, even though it should technically be a purl side, so I can fold it easier once we get to that point. Also, so I have a nice midpoint for the sleeve when we sew those on. So I'm going to knit these first 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then to cast 8 on, we're going to cast 8 back on to close up this hole here. All I'm going to do is make little thumb loops. So I'm going to take my thumb, push it up, rotate my hand, and then take the needle through this right here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and make sure you're pulling them kind of tight. 6, 7, not too tight, but just kind of snug on the needle here. 8, and then continue knitting the last 6 as normal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now that you have your neck hole kind of figured out, you're just going to do 24 more rows of stockinette stitch, just like we did on the front here. And getting over the thumb loop cast on there can be a little bit difficult, but that's okay. You're just going to kind of push the loop open. So that's 1. Just kind of push the new loop away, and you can kind of rotate it a little bit on the needle to make a bigger opening. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then the last 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, and that's the first of your 24 rows of stockinette for the back of the sweater. And now that you've done a couple of rows, you can kind of see that knit row that was supposed to be a purl row, and it just makes it easier to get that nice fold here. If you don't want to knit that row when we closed up the neck hole, you absolutely don't have to knit that row. I just like to do it so again I have a nice midpoint to sew the sleeve on and to get that nice fold. So then again, we're just going to continue with that stockinette until we've got 24 rows. All right, that is 24 rows, and your work is gonna look something like this, with your neck hole and your shoulder seam. It's looking pretty good. So the last portion of the body here, we're just going to do that 1 by 1 ribbing one more time for 4 rows. So knit, purl, for 4 rows, and then bind off, and then that's the body. So knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl, and because you have an even number of stitches, all 4 rows should start with knit. If they don't, we may have miscounted somewhere. So every row should start with knit and end on purl. Knit, purl, knit, purl. All right, and then 3 more of that. Knit, purl, knit, purl, knit, purl. Okay, and so the last thing that we do for this is bind off. I'm just using the same bind off method that I used for the neck hole here. So we're just going to knit that first stitch, throw it back on the left needle, go in through the back of 2 loops, knit them together, pull it off, throw that new stitch back on the needle and through the back of 2 loops, knit them together, pull them off. Easy peasy. Okay. So to finish this bind off, all I'm gonna do is take my yarn, wrap it around my right needle and use my left needle to pull that last loop off of that. I'm gonna pull this long ways a little bit and give myself plenty of yarn for sewing. Cut it off, pull my big loop all the way through, and then pull that tight so it's nice and secure. And that is the end of the body of your sweater. That's how it'll look so far. Front and back. And you'll notice it is still curling a little bit, but again, once we get the sleeves on there and the sides sewn up, it will not do that. All right, onto the sleeves. When making the sleeves for this project, I like to have plenty of yarn on the tail to be able to sew the sleeves onto the body. So this should be more than enough. It's about 12 inches. I'll probably end up cutting a bunch off once it's sewn on. But to start the sleeve, we are going to cast on 14. We're going to make 2 sleeves. We're going to start with 14, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and again I like to recount just in case. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we are going to knit 6 rows stockinette. We're not going to bother with the ribbing because this is the top of the sleeve where it meets the shoulder. So we're just going to do 6 rows, 1 knit row, 1 purl row, alternating. So we're going to knit, and purl. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. All right, so now we've got 6 rows of that stockinette stitch. On the 7th row, we are going to knit 2 together at the beginning and the end, so that we'll have 12 stitches left. So we're going to just knit 2 together. And this will be on the seam, so nobody's gonna see it. 1, and then knit 10, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and then this last 2 stitches, we're just going to knit those together. And now we have 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And then for the next 5 rows, we're going to continue in the stockinette with our 12 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So that's 5 more rows in the stockinette. And then lastly, to finish it off, we're just gonna do 4 rows of the 1x1 ribbing again. 1, 2. Okay, now that we've got those 4 rows of ribbing done, we can cast off. And we're just going to use the same cast off method that we've been using. Now, for this one, we're gonna need some extra yarn to sew it all up. Just make sure you have plenty. I've got quite a bit here. Because what we'll do is take the body, we'll use this one to sew the sleeve on right here at the middle and sew that together, and then we'll use this one to sew up the sleeve and then down the body. But for now, go ahead and make you a second sleeve. Okay, now we've got the body of the sweater and 2 sleeves. We're going to take the body and one of the sleeves and sew that together. It doesn't have to be exact, it doesn't have to be perfect, but it is a reason that I have this random knit row, not random, but this knit row right here, so it helps me center the sleeve on the body like that. And we're just gonna sew it on that away. Okay, and these stitches again don't have to be incredible because nobody's wearing this. It's a decoration. It doesn't have to be exact. It doesn't have to meet exactly, and I'm just whip stitching it on. I'm just using a whip stitch. I'm not even counting how many stitches I'm stitching on. It's just going to be on and as secure as it needs to be. All right. That's looking pretty good. It's a little off center, but that's totally fine. Now I'm just gonna take the rest of this and come into any stitch and just tie a knot here. And I'll just hide that, the rest of that tail. And again, nobody's gonna be wearing this, so it doesn't have to be super, super secure. It's just gotta be on there. And on there it is. So that's one sleeve. We're gonna do the second sleeve. And just again, get it about centered. It doesn't have to be exact. And I'm just whip stitching that on. You can do this any way you want. If you want to count the stitches, that is perfectly fine. If you are the kind of person that needs things to be exact, I don't blame you. I have been that way, but for these, it don't really matter. If I was making a sweater for a person, yes, I would absolutely be counting. But this is just a little guy. Just a little guy. I'll stick that back down in here. And once again, just find somewhere to tie a little knot and hide the yarn. Okay, and before I sew the rest of this together, I'm gonna take these ends and sew them in, just because we made these long enough to be able, the ends of the sleeves long enough to be able to just fold it over and sew up the arm and down the seam here. So we're just gonna hide these. And I'm just gonna kind of make my way up the side here with this. Just a little bit. Not even worry about if there's any sticking out, because it's on the inside, nobody's gonna see it. But again, if it bothers you, feel free to spend a little bit more time on it to make it look as nice as you need it to be. I'm just doing the same on the other side. Just kind of hiding it right up in there. Easy peasy. And now again, I'm just going to use a whip stitch to sew up the sleeve and down the side here. And if you need to, you can use pins or whatever to keep things in place. And once you reach the end, I just like to take it up the side a little bit. Then again, I'm gonna tie a knot. And I know I've heard a lot that you're not supposed to tie knots when you're knitting, but again, this is not for a real person, so it does not matter. And again, I'm just gonna kind of hide the rest of the tail somewhere in here. Pull at it a little bit and then snip. That's one side done. And we're just going to do the same thing on this side. This side got a little wonky, but that's okay. It's going to look beautiful no matter what. This is just a quick little project for you to do, or for anyone to do. It's nice. It makes a nice gift for if you just need something fast and easy. There was one year that I made probably like 10 of these for friends for friends and family. I made little sweaters and little hats and put everybody's initials on them. Right, just make that little corner there. And again, I'm just gonna kind of tuck that right up in here. Make a little knot so it stays secure. And then tuck the remaining tail in wherever you would like. Chop it off. And there you have it. A nice teeny sweater. You can put initials on it, you can put beads on it, you can do whatever you want with it. You could double stitch a little tree or snowflake or whatever you want. I usually finish these with, again, a felt initial, and then I will crochet just about 6 inches of a chain and attach it to the top so that it hangs from a tree. But of course you could make it into a garland, you could make it into a gift tag, you can do whatever you want with these. It's just a little cute little thing. Mine measures about 3 inches tall, about 7 inches wide with the sleeve. So whatever you feel fit to do with it, go ahead and do it. And that's my mini sweater. Thanks for watching.